Trent, Liverpool, top of the Premier League, top of the pile in the Champions League. Sounds good. Must feel very good.
Of course, yeah. This is where we want to be. Still early days, so can't get too excited. But if you told us this at the start of the season, we'd have massive smiles on our faces. So no, we're in a very, very good position, very strong position. More so in the league than Champions League, because it then becomes knockout football, and what you've done so far doesn't really matter. But no, in the league we're in a strong position. We just need to stay consistent, I think, over the next few months and put ourselves in the best position possible.
You said, if I told you that at the start of the season, there have been massive smiles. Surely it's all gone better than anyone had ever imagined.
Yeah, I think, you don't really tend to imagine, well, you especially don't imagine a bad scenario where you're struggling and, you're not picking up results and you're struggling to find, form or anything. So you never imagine that, but you never imagine you'll be so far ahead at such an early stage in the season.
Especially with a big transition, because historically we've seen when a great figure leaves a football club, it's so hard to replace the manager and the stature around him, yet it's been so seamless for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think probably the one of the reasons why it's gone so smooth is that no one's really tried to stay in what we were, or fixate on what we were. It's more, we're something new, we're a new organism now. Everything's changed. You don't really look back in the past and think, well, this is how we done this is how we done that. It's, this is the manager's new way, and you roll with it and you get behind it and you get used to it. And that's what we've done as a team from day one, to be honest.
Did you guys speak amongst yourselves, the players, about that? Listen, what we had was great, it's gone, we have to adjust, we have to be open-minded?
No, I don't think we never so much spoke about it as a team, but it was kind of, I think, especially like the senior players in the team, they're the ones that send the message and set the tone of how it's going to be. So, the fact that we all bought into it straight away meant that everyone kind of had to. And I think that's something that may have helped the transition as well.
It's only human and normal, I think, though, when Jurgen left, to be thinking, what happens now, what comes next? It's so unknown, because the era was so great and was over a long period of time. Did you have any of that kind of nervousness about what comes next?
I wouldn't say nervousness, I would say just, I think when you kind of don't know how it's going to be or what it's going to look like, or, for such a long time you've always known where you stand and how things are and the routines, and you're just so accustomed to the way that we play and your role within that. And you don't find yourself worrying, I wouldn't say, but it's more just you think about how big of a change is it going to be. Like, change is coming, but how big is it going to be? Is it going to change everything? Are we going to completely forget everything we've done in the last 8 years and, adopt a brand new playing style, and just your whole lifestyle, is it going to change? Are we going to start training at a different time? Is that going to change? Is the demands from us in training or in the gym, how things are monitored around us, is everything like that going to change? You don't know, so you kind of just you're thinking about how much is actually going to change, but the change hasn't been too drastic, to be honest. Things have changed, but we've all enjoyed them and we are enjoying them.
Yeah, I think when you're open to them, it does make it easier. When Liverpool were going through the managerial search, obviously a lot of names being mentioned, and then Arne Slot is confirmed. At that time, you guys don't really know much about him. From what your first reaction was to hearing his name to the reality of him, how different is it from what you had anticipated to what you actually got?
I mean, well, you don't have anticipation because when you don't know someone, and I mean, you haven't really seen much of the work. If I'm honest, it's unfair and it's hard to base opinions on that. But yeah, I mean, just the level of detail and everything is. Like, I find myself smiling about it because that's the kind of thing that I really enjoy. It's just football in like a very, very in-depth level. And I could tell from the first time I met him, you know, that I was going to enjoy, you know, playing under him and being a part of this. I'm feeling like I'm going to get better and improve and learn so much in such a short space of time, and just keep on learning because I could tell he was football obsessed, and the level of detail was incredible.
You speak about feeling like you're learning and improving under him. What tweaks has he made that you have felt the benefit of?
Well, on me personally, or me personally, I'd say positioning wise, I think, you know, he's explained a lot how positioning is so important in football and where you are, even when the ball's completely on the other side, where to be, and that changes throughout games and for each and every game, depending on how the opposition are set up. So, yeah, it depends on the opposition, so it changes a lot, and that's something that I like. I like to be challenged and have to think about things during games, and feel like I'm being challenged. So, you know, it's something that I think suits my style of personality.
Speaking of challenges, on a personal level for you, the injury situation must have been quite frustrating. Are you finding the older you get, you handle those setbacks better, or is it still like, really, really difficult?
No, they're still really, really difficult. No, I'd be lying if I said like you get used to them, because you don't. No, they are really, really difficult. You know, you just want to play. That's the only thing you want to do. And when you're fit, you kind of take it for granted because, well, you're moan because training was too hard, or you know your legs are tired and you've not got enough time to recover, and the games are coming so fast. But the minute that's taken away from you, that's all you want. You want them feelings because you lose it. You know, you want to wake up feeling tired and stiff in the morning. They're the things that you want because it means that you're fit and healthy and playing. Then that's all we want as footballers is just to be available. I think that's the most important thing for us.
Was it gutting as well when it happened because you missed some blockbuster games?
Yeah. So you miss big games. I mean, these things happen. I think at the international break as well, which, you know, meant that I didn't miss as many games as what I could have. I was back able to play against City, so that was probably the important one for me. That's the one I aim for. As soon as it happened and you find out how long it's going to be, you kind of pick a fixture that you ideally want to be back for, and that was the one for me.
That fixture has actually been the defining one in the Premier League for recent seasons. Just looking at the top of the table, are you surprised a bit by what's happened to City this season?
Of course. I think big surprise to everyone. I mean, I've always said that if you've ever got a chance to beat City, it's always before Christmas. I think maybe they're still finding their feet in that the first 3-4 months of the season, and then after Christmas going to New Year, at that point you can forget about beating them. You can honestly forget about it, because not many teams do.
Yeah, once they hit that stride.
Once it clicks around New Year, it's they'll go 5 months without losing the game, and they might draw 1 or 2, but they'll just win and just carry on winning. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case again. They probably dropped more points than what they probably ever have so far this season, but they're a team that, you know, have won four in a row, won a treble a couple seasons ago, incredibly strong with world-class players and an incredible manager as well, of course. So, yeah, you can never rule them out, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in the title race come the end of the season.
You know, some of the descriptions you used for them there are how people are feeling about this version of Liverpool now, that it's so difficult to try and get the better of this team. It feels like a lot more of a mature Liverpool.
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, I think everyone buys into, you know, when you do see the teams around you dropping points, it's more, it emphasises how much more important it is to get your results. In times like this, when teams are dropping points, you need to get your wins. So no, that's our main focus. It's not about players going after their individual numbers. Obviously they help, but it's more just getting the results. If we win 1-0, if we win 5-0, you know, it's still 3 points. It doesn't matter to us. We just want to make it as difficult as we can for opposition, and then get our 3 points and keep moving forward.
You said don't chase the individual numbers, but you are closing in on 100 assists for Liverpool, and as a normal lad,
how many am I on?
I think you're on like 82, so you're not that far away, which is honestly extraordinary. And so I'm going, like I said, for just a normal lad from Liverpool.
No, yeah, really, really good numbers, to be honest. Yeah, it's something I enjoy doing. To be honest, never thought I'd ever hit numbers like that. They were never an aim for me to reach 100 assists or break records in that respect. But, you know, the more you play, the more extravagant your dreams and ambitions become. So yeah, that'll probably be the next thing I try and hit is 100, yeah.
And dreams and ambitions for the rest of the season collectively?
I think we're multiple trophies. I think that's the level that we're at. That's the level we've shown that we're capable of doing. Beating the best teams in the world.
Making it look easy as well sometimes.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Especially them two games, I think, against Madrid and City. Of course, they're not easy, but when you're able to make it look that way, it just shows the quality of players and team and understanding that we've got. So the strength is there. We know we're capable of doing it. It's just about being consistent. That's the hardest thing in football, is consistency. And still not halfway through the season, so a long way to go.
But you know, those two games you mentioned, was it a big statement? Because there was this conversation of Liverpool haven't played anyone decent. It kept running even though you had. So was that week like, shh?
Yeah, I think that was just a statement week for the team and for the club. Probably historically our two biggest rivals in Europe and domestically over the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I guess we've struggled to overcome as a team. So to beat them both in the space of a few days was something that really set a statement to everyone that we're a real team. And whether they wanted to believe it before that or they don't believe it still, it doesn't bother us. We know what level we're at, and you know, our position in both competitions and still being in the Carabao Cup just shows how good of a team we are. So, you know, what people want to think about us doesn't affect us. We know the quality we've got. We know what levels we can hit. We know we've still got a lot to improve, and we'll get better throughout the season. Which I think is good for us and bad for anyone else.
Perfect. Good luck for the rest of it.
Thank you very much.